Hello, hello. On today's show, I'm going to do a lot of what if contemplating. Mike is not going to talk about the CGC controversy. And Pat says, if knowing is half the battle, the other half might be a back brace. Welcome to your favorite live streaming whatnotting podcast, Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space. I am, of course, your fourth or fifth favorite podcasting host, Kevin. And we've got a full house for the New Year's. Happy New Year. And first up is Mike.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. And then, of course, the one with the awesome articulated, I can't wait to see what it means, tease, Pat.
Hey, welcome to 2024, everybody.
Hey, Pat.
Welcome. Village Landscape. Hello, hello, hello. What's up? A special shout out to especially Mike. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's taking first snow shift, so I'm able to do the show today.
You had mentioned that earlier. Thank God for Jesse.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Oh, crap. I've still got my Christmas music playing on in the background for the new year. I'm not over it yet. Are you guys over it? Christmas,
I can deal with it.
Mike?
In a way, yeah, we stopped turning our lights on a couple of days ago, and right now Emily and the kids are taking Christmas down and putting it into boxes.
Yeah, we're working on that today, but my family's waiting for me to be done with the show so I can do all the heavy lifting. So, and then as you can see in the title, I also added New Year's resolutions. So I'm going to throw that at you, right? The curveball right at you right now. First question, Mike, we'll start with you. Do you partake in New Year's resolutions or not still?
I don't. For no reason. I just, I don't want to give anything up. I like everything I do. I guess I guess that's what people usually do is they give up something. But
I don't think it's always a give up thing. It's a change, making a change for a better.
All right,
There's all kinds of yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since we do a show on comics, I'm going to read more comics this year than I did last year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pat, first question for you. Do you partake in New Year's resolutions still?
No, I don't. But immediately one came to my head that I can make, and it's very similar to Mike's, is reduce that pile of unread books next to my bed.
Yeah.
Before it topples over on me and I don't make it to 2025.
Oh, maybe I might need this. I didn't even move it over after the last show. Anyway, so as you can imagine, since I'm asking the question, I actually do still partake in New Year's resolutions just because, and I think maybe from your guys' answers, some people might not participate in it because as we age, you just don't even think about it anymore. It's just another new year. And you got things you want to improve, stuff like that. And you don't think about actually playing the game, right? So, but I still play the game and, say, okay, my resolutions for this year are, and again, and this is something that Mike didn't mention, but I was expecting he would say, because we have this similar thing we want to take care of this year. And it's similar to what he did say, but it's reducing what we buy to only what we read.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Yep.
Now, all of our eBay people, whatnot people, don't worry. We're not talking about what we will buy to sell. We're talking about our own personal collections, get those read. So minimize what we buy to actually what we'll read, which I think is it's still tough though, because art is great, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's hard to put the rule, and I think I texted this to you, Kevin. I'm going to stop buying books for the cover only.
Exactly. Yeah. But
Really
it is
hard.
hard.
It is hard because I'm still. I stopped getting the regular Amazing Spider-Man covers, but I'm still getting the Disney 100 What If covers.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah. You know why they say it's tough, Pat, in
Why
particular?
is that?
Because
Why is that?
appreciating great art is awesome.
I've heard that somewhere.
All right. So enough of the New Year's stuff. Everybody else watching and listening, best of luck to you if you do partake in New Year's resolutions, and Happy New Year. And let's get rolling. You guys ready to?
Yeah, real quick before we start.
Okay.
This because it's on the same subject. I cut back on a lot of stuff, and then I prepped for our preview segment, which will be next week. And I went ahead and added 3 things from that. So it's if I don't know about it, it's easy to not buy it, obviously. But I'm searching for things that I think are awesome that I want to share with everybody else, and I also want them. So,
well, I think I've told you that the preview has the opposite effect on me, though. I use the previews as a way to kind of get it out of my system, like I'm pretending like I'm shopping for the show.
right.
And then I forget about it and I don't get it. But
Yeah.
how's it work for you, Pat? More like Mike or more like me? When you do
A little bit of both. Yeah, it's a good way to bring attention to stuff, but then there's such thing as too much attention.
Right.
Fork out the money on your own, pick up the stuff that you see is cool. So
yeah,
it's like the Batman 423 effect. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah. Okay.
Too much attention.
Yep.
But maybe we should have a show about deals or something. Aside from preview, because we're all good. I'm definitely going to say you two more than me. I'm finding great deals on this stuff that we find when we find it later somewhere else at a cheaper price. You guys are hooking me up left and right with that stuff too. So just got to be patient sometimes, right?
Yeah.
All right. So we ready to see what I kicked off the New Year's with watching?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yep.
All right, I'm hoping you guys watched a little bit of this stuff because again, I don't have a whole lot. I've actually watched a lot, but I'm kind of been catching up on some other than geek culture stuff that I really don't figure is good to cover here. But anyway, I'll start with Monarch. I am completely caught up with Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I think yesterday was episode 9. And episode 10 next week is the finale. What say you on this one, Mike? Are you caught up?
No, I think I'm on 7. Yeah.
And then Pat, we had some code issues, so you still don't even have the capability of watching this yet, huh?
Correct.
Man, I'm sorry, Pat, because this is so good. I'm really concerned where we are in this series with how they're going to wrap this up. Because if I've said it once, I've said it many times that the ending will make or break this ride for me. And man, I don't know how much I want to talk about episode 8 and 9, Mike, if you stopped at episode 7, because they just threw a whole new game changer into 8 and 9. Like something you never saw coming. You think you know anything about 8 and 9 with what you've seen up to 7. It's totally something completely out of left field. Do you care if I kind of spoil it for you, or what are you thinking on this?
Yeah, you can go ahead. Because I'm going to enjoy it either way.
So do you remember early in the series, everybody talked about how Kurt Russell looks great for a 97-year-old man?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Well, in episode 8, they actually followed. It reminded me of Pacific Rim. You guys remember Pacific Rim fairly well?
I remember it.
Do you remember how they beat the what are they called, Pat? What do you call the Godzilla's kind of creatures in general? The
Kaiju.
yeah, kaiju. Do you remember how they beat the kaiju in Pacific Rim?
Yes.
They found a way to go into the rift to their domain and then blow them up, right?
Right.
So that kind of happens in episode 8. They don't go in there to blow them up. They just go in there to figure out what the heck is going on, right? And of course, young Lee, Colonel Lee, Kurt Russell's son's character, goes through the rift goes to their world to, see what's up, do research, yada yada. And he's only there like 2 days to him, but then he wakes up and it's 20 years later.
Wow.
So that's why he looks like he's so great at 97, because he's only 77 technically, or whatever, Don't quote me on those ages and time frames. It's something like that. It's around there, So that throws a whole new, problem into it. And then in episode 8, the same thing happens but with our new cast of characters, including Kurt Russell and all the kids that, the Goonies that are running around with him.
Yeah.
That's not a
Not the
good
Goonies.
They all accidentally, not intentionally, like back in the day with young Kurt Russell or
Wyatt.
Yeah, Wyatt. They fall into it accidentally. So that's where we are, episode 8. Now Kurt Russell and the kids are all in the boy didn't fall in, but the other ones fell in. So now we're where the monsters are. So I don't know how we can go from never knowing about any of this, time shifting thing to them being in the monsters world to ending this in one episode. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I hope they do it well. So,
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. General Lee or Kurt Russell. Yeah. When he comes back out, it'd be 2 days there, but how many 20 years there?
Yeah.
Man, extra old.
Yeah. So, right. He'll be 130 or whatever, but still look like he's 77 since this is his second time around, right?
Are we getting more Godzilla though?
So,
I mean, you see this poster.
You saw up to episode 7? Are you sure you saw up to episode 7?
Yeah, because we saw a little bit more whenever he was like, well, yeah, it was already spoiled. Sorry, Pat. Where he was the mountain. Is that episode 7?
Actually, no. I think that's episode 5, even 6, maybe.
Maybe 6. Maybe I'm not on 7 then.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There is one episode, and I think it might be episode 7 that you actually saw the most of kaiju, including Godzilla. So I could be wrong though. It could be episode 8. But, that's definitely possible. But the answer in general is yes.
Yeah, that's my only complaint, that we're this far in.
It's still not a lot. It's still not a lot though. You see more, but it's still not a lot though. Which that's why this show is named what it's named. This is about Monarch. This isn't about Godzilla. They're just using the draw of Godzilla to get you to watch the show.
Well, it's working.
Yeah, it's working for me too. So anyway, this is still a great show to watch. I'm still gonna. I don't know what I gave it before, but I'm still gonna. Or I'm going to go with a solid 8, 8.5. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm definitely wanting. If they end this well, please, Lord, end it well. If it ends well and I end up loving it so much, I'm going to rewatch the whole thing. That's how good I think it is, watch it all in as close succession as I am able, rather than having to wait like I've been, Yep. Although I think there is something to say for waiting. It gives you that old school feel, like where you're like, wanting to watch it next week. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you time to really digest each episode.
Yeah.
If I mean, some people just watch it and then forget about it till the next week. Other people kind of think about it throughout the week. Talk about it.
Yeah. All right. So then I watched Marvel's What If Season 2. Where are you guys on this?
What if I actually watched season 1?
What if
God.
you actually watched season?
That's where I am.
Did you? You didn't even watch season 1,
No,
Pat?
I don't know why. It's hard for me to get into the TV shows for Marvel.
Yeah. Pat?
Yeah, I've seen them all except for the very last episode. We ran out of time and never got back to that last episode.
Okay, cool. Okay. You're actually ahead of me then. I watched the first 4 episodes. And man, I am going to start out by just saying I can't remember enough, or I can't remember things specifically enough to tell you why I really like What If season 2 better than season 1. But man, I'm sure feeling that tenfold. Man, I am loving season 2. And I remember the way I felt about, I was pretty underwhelmed with season 1. I think I remember liking 1 or 2 pretty much, but the whole rest were kind of, like I said, underwhelming to me. And so I was disappointed in the season as a whole. I can't remember if was I doing what Kevin watched yet when season 1? I think I was. I'd have to revisit that. But man, I'm loving What If season 2, man. It's so good. Do you agree with that, Pat?
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if I go so far as to say it's so good. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. Some episodes are better than others, of course.
All right, I want to get into the weeds on that. Okay, I want to get into the weeds a little bit on that. I got this graphic with all the episodes because I wanted to kind of give people a general synopsis of what the episode's about. So episode 1 is, and Mike, maybe this will help you get to it. Maybe you can appreciate this stuff. You liked What If from back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So episode 1 is about Nebula ends up joining the Nova Corps because she is estranged from Thanos, right, Pat?
Boy, I don't even remember.
Okay. Well, anyway, the reason why is not really the important part. The important part is it is the experience of Nebula in the Nova Corps from the beginnings of the Nova Corps. So it's pretty cool. I liked it. I'm a Nebula fan. She's a pretty cool character. And then episode 2 has Peter Quill as if Yondu actually delivered Star-Lord to Ego like he was supposed to, instead of keeping him for himself like he did in our universe. That's pretty cool, right, Mike?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. And it was a great episode. And then Happy Hogan Saved Christmas. This one's good for multiple reasons. First of all, it's Christmas. Second of all, total diehard, references throughout this entire episode, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then lastly, what this is what's Hammer from Hammer, Hammer Industries, Stark Industries, Nemesis Corporation that wants to sell military grade weapons. You remember Hammer from Iron Man, mostly in Iron Man 2, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Who's that? Who's the actor again? I just forget his name. Pat.
Man, I just watched. He was in Moon. I just watched Moon.
He's in a ton of stuff. Yeah. We love him. All right, you work that out. I'll just keep talking. So what happens in this one is Hammer actually attacks the Avengers Tower at Christmas time, and the only one that's actually still in the Avengers Tower is Happy Hogan. So he has to defend Avengers Tower by himself. So it's a pretty interesting adventure. Lots of fun, lots of laughs. Again, lots of diehard references. So it's awesome.
That's Jon Favreau's character, right?
Yeah, Jon Favreau's character, exactly. And then in episode 4 is Iron Man. Basically, at the end of Avengers, you know how the timing was perfect, of course. As soon as he sent the nuke into kill all the Chitauri through the, warp hole in the sky, he falls through the hole back down to Earth and yada, yada, right? In this episode, Iron Man doesn't fall through the hole. He's stuck there. Okay. He's stuck kind of in space, and he kind of floats and falls into the same planet that Thor and Hulk fall into in Ragnarok. So it's it's Iron Man playing the role of Thor, essentially. Hulk's not there though either. Against the Grandmaster on his planet. So it's pretty funny and it's pretty good, man. These are especially clever, in my opinion. Are those 4 episodes some of the better episodes in your opinion? Like, am I in store for a little bit of a letdown for the rest, Pat?
I don't think so. Like I said, it ebbs and flows.
Okay.
Like the next episode is probably might be my favorite one.
Okay.
The animation was just storyboarded or planned out. It was probably the best executed episode of the whole season.
Okay.
As far as the animation flow and the dynamics of it. So, and then like I said, I didn't care for 7, and I haven't seen 9. So
okay. Well, I think in another part of this, I was talking to you guys a little bit before the show about how I actually my son's fiance actually got gifted the MCU Infinity Saga Trivial Pursuit game. So that's been on my mind a lot lately. And then since it's been on my mind and since I ended up losing that game, I'm not bitter about it at all, though. I wanted to rewatch the MCU, and I figured it'll take me a year to do that. So I told them I'm going to be ready next year,
Nice.
And so I've been, I played the Trivial Pursuit. I actually got Iron Man and Incredible Hulk under my belt already. And then I watched this, and this is totally nods to the Infinity Saga so far, at least what I'm watching. So, man, again, like I said, I'm just loving it. All those things together might have to do why I'm loving this so much more than I'm remembering how much I liked season 1. It's all, where you are when you're watching something in your mind state of everything. That's why you always have to take what people think is a grain of salt. You may watch this and hate it, Mike. I don't know. But I'm just telling you, I loved it. So take it for what it is, and everyone else out there. But that's I'm gonna probably mention the last 5 episodes next week since I'm enjoying it so much, and I like me just telling you about Star-Lord and that change of what if story interesting you, Mike. That's why I really want to kind of tell people what the episodes are about. And maybe you might want to check out just an individual episode or 2 if you're interested in that content. Because I feel like people think about what if, and even what's the Star Wars one they have on Disney as well, Visions. You kind of think of that as a one show, but it's 12 shows or 9 shows or whatever, right, Pat?
yeah.
So they're all self-contained. You don't have to watch the whole season. You can just pick and choose.
Exactly.
Yes and no, because like what if sort of the first season had an underlying theme, and they kind of came together at the end, and they're kind of doing the same thing here. I think it seems. I'm
gonna give you a counter to that, Pat. So aside from the final episode, because I agree, from obviously the first season, it all came together, and you needed to really get the gist of the final episode. You really need the rest of the episodes. But I'd say besides the final episode, all the other one do completely stand alone.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of wish they wouldn't try to wrap them time together. I don't need that.
Oh, is that why you haven't watched the last one? Because you're expecting?
Nah.
So it's kind of like a build-a-figure for animated shows.
Yeah,
it's like the bonus to watching it all. When you get to the end, you get this story.
That is a great analogy, Mike. I was just getting ready to say everybody wants to be like Seinfeld, but you beat me to a great punch there. Nice.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be like
figures.
I said everyone wants to be like Seinfeld. Man, I can't even get
no studio audience. Maybe Karen fell asleep.
You like Mike.
All right, Happy New Year, Mom.
New Year.
All right, so Yeah, that's it. I just watched that since I wanted to talk about the episodes individually. That's all I watched. That's really geek content this week. Did you guys have anything or this week, this holiday season, since we all were together last? Did you guys watch any other new geek culture stuff? Anybody see Aquaman 2 yet?
Nope. That's
No.
we can talk about Aquaman 2 briefly. The craziest thing about that I don't understand is how it's on Netflix. I don't understand because it's owned by Warner Brothers, HBO.
Hold
Why
on a
don't they put
second.
it-
Hold the phone. Aquaman 2 that just came out in theaters is on Netflix right now?
January 1st.
I did not know that. Dadgummit.
Quickest streaming ever, I think.
That's nothing to be proud of. Jeez.
But why is it on Netflix?
Money? They paid it.
I guess.
Yeah.
But it's the competing service for who owns the product. It's so weird.
Paramount, right? Or no?
Warner Brothers.
Warner
But
Brothers.
Warner Brothers, Paramount, who's connected to Warner Brothers? Isn't one of this?
HBO.
Oh, HBO. Oh, HBO. Yeah. Why isn't it on Max?
Got
That
me.
makes sense. Huh,
I don't
interesting.
understand.
Well, now that I know that it's free on Netflix, I'm probably still not going to watch it soon.
Really? I think it looks cool.
I haven't watched the first one yet. That's where I'm stuck.
Thank you, Patrick. I always feel like, I'm the one that's, it's like, man, I can't believe you haven't done this. Thank you, because that's been out for a long time.
What's giving you a hard time pulling that trigger, Pat?
I just got disillusioned with the DC universe movies. I just wasn't liking them, and I kind of gave up.
Yeah, that's where I am with Marvel now. Yeah. Have you watched the Snyder Cut of Justice League yet?
Nope.
All right. Have you, Mike?
Yes.
Nice.
I always feel like I'm falling behind.
I don't even think there's a falling behind. There's just so much. It's impossible for everybody
That's
to watch everything. I do my best, and it's maybe I'll get to it first before you guys, because it seems like I prioritize it more. Because I'm a professional, I have a segment. I got to do what I got to do. But I one of my favorite TikTokers. He's a movie reviewer. He stated it perfect with Aquaman and reviewed Aquaman 2, and I trust him. Everything he says pretty much I've agreed with. And he said, if you like Aquaman, you'll like Aquaman 2. You hate Aquaman, you'll hate Aquaman 2. Like, okay, I like Aquaman.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'm not a big original Aquaman gatekeeper or anything to where that any of that the changes bother me. So it's fine. But
yeah.
But you guys didn't watch anything else? No geek culture stuff over the holidays at all?
I tried watching. I think you watched it. What was that animated Batman Christmas thing?
Oh yeah. Merry Little Christmas. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tried watching that, but I didn't like the way Bruce Wayne was. I was all worried about Damian skinning his knee or something. It's like,
yeah.
Batman doesn't care. I mean, he does, but so it annoyed me. I watched like 10 minutes of it.
I could definitely see that. I totally understand that completely. It took me a minute to get through it too. And probably if I put it on for my focus, I would have probably gone to something else too. But I put it on as while I'm doing stuff on eBay and stuff,
Yeah,
and I find it certainly caught me in, But that reminds me of, how they have the Darth Vader with Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia as kids, little happy books.
Mm-hmm.
I hate those for the same reason you just said, Mike. How are you going to portray Darth Vader as a good dad?
Yeah. He was never dad of the year. Come on now.
Yeah. Or even pretend for 5 seconds to be a good dad. I can't remember what those books were, but I own them though.
Almost. Right. Calm down, audience. With watching Monarch and Kurt Russell, I almost went down this whole Kurt Russell, rabbit hole. I watched Mean Season from the 80s, and then I watched Bone Tomahawk. I'm like, oh man, I'm just gonna watch all the Kurt Russell movies I can right now.
Oh, jeez. There's a lot of great ones. He's obviously awesome.
Yeah.
It was funny. As soon as Ayla saw Monarch, she was watching. She just came in the room when I'm watching Monarch. She's like, "Is that Ego?" I was like,
That's
"Yeah,
the way the kids work. Yeah.
yeah." And she's like, "Is that Captain America, U.S. Agent?" I was like, "Yeah, exactly."
Yeah.
Did you know that, Mike? You don't know that because you didn't watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I do. I was well aware that Wyatt Russell was kept in the HBO show
Okay.
or the
No.
Disney show.
Yeah, Disney. Yeah. He's U.S. They changed him to U.S. Agent at the end.
Yeah.
Which where are they going with that? We got to get that. We'll get back in on that soon. But anyway, okay, that's it for me.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of other stuff too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I watched a bunch of stuff. It's just none of it's really applicable to this show. So
Right.
Are you ready to be in the spotlight now, Mike?
Yeah. Let me. I'm ready.
Are you sure?
Of course.
All right, cool.
I'm always ready.
All right, I heard this was a great week. A little birdie told me.
Yeah. Yeah. It depends on how New York goes. If New York goes well, then it goes well for everybody. All right. So here we have 10 covers. I changed this up. Chosen from a list of 434.
434. I love when you throw out that stat.
Yeah.
That's insane.
write it-
Okay, hold on a second. Do you also have the stat? You're saying there's 434 direct to market covers, correct?
Yes.
How many different titles is that though? Do you know? Do you have that number?
I don't have that. I did that one time.
I'd like to
but,
hear the titles in general too, Not to put any more
Yeah.
work on here, but
Yeah, I'll see how easily I can do that.
yeah, if it's easy. Yeah.
But so these all have a shelf date of Wednesday, January 10th. And we'll start off with Wolverine number 41, Lionel Francis Yu. And next up, Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, Nick Klein. Action Comics 1061, Chris Bacalo. It's been Bacello for me for 30 years, but Bacalo. Zorro, Man of the Dead number 1, Lee Bermejo. Transformers number 4, John Boy Myers. Miles Morales 15, Ken Lashley. Star Wars 42, John Tyler Christopher. Avengers number 9, Pete Woods. Daredevil Gang War number 2, Sergio Fernandez Davila. And Phantom Halls number 1, Matthew Skiff. So there you go.
All right. Is it Wolverine week? Is that what it is, or Wolverine month?
It's Wolverine month. They're the variants are all, as you can tell, it's basically sticking Wolverine in the position of a main character from an homage.
They're trying to wreck my New Year's resolution, Mike.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm not buying these for covers. The only one I can get here is the Wolverine with Sabretooth, but I really want that Miles cover, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, Mike.
All right.
I'm not going to fail week 1 in my New Year's resolution.
Right.
But these are great. I think these are great. There's only 2 that weren't in the running for me. How do you feel about this week, Pat?
I like the top row, and it would have been even tougher for the top row if Mike would have chosen the A covers for 2 of those books. But yeah, I like the top row.
Ooh, the A cover. Well, is one of them Ultimate Spider-Man?
Yeah.
I almost picked that one because I do love the layout of that. But then I saw this, and it's just the pose is kind of striking, and yeah, so that's why I went with that one.
You don't like that Miles cover, Pat?
No, I do not.
Yeah, I don't like his mouth on the Miles cover.
All right, tell me why I don't like it, Pat.
The reason I don't like it is just because it's too, I don't know, it's like washed out. The one thing I noticed almost immediately was the S on Here Lies. I don't know. There's just doesn't compare to the original.
Okay. And I figured for sure you'd like that Avengers cover. You know, like the Wolverine put in for Vision.
Nope. And then, okay, so the Miles cover, the trade dress is okay, except the corner box should have been shifted closer to the edge. Now the Avengers cover bugs me to all get out because everything is shifted to the one side of the corner box. It's so stupid looking. It's so easy to fix. Just it's Photoshop or whatever program they're using to lay out the covers, and it drives me insane.
Marvel, call Pat. He's got what you need to know.
Look at all that empty space beside the Marvel logo and the numbers and the headshots. Why it should be symmetrical? It's so stupid.
It is dumb. I agree.
Plus, I hate Albert, so
okay.
I never liked that character. I always thought it was dumb.
Okay. The only two that were in the running for me was Phantom Halls and Avengers, so I figured those two were definitely in the running for y'all.
Well, Phantom Halls, I like it because it resembles the classic EC horror books.
Yeah, right. I figured. Yeah. All right. Well, what did the other people in our group think, Mike?
What was the other A cover on top that you would have preferred?
Zorro.
Okay. Zorro.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? The A cover didn't even register with me. I saw the Bermeo cover and it just jumped. I'm gonna have to go look for the A cover. Okay. All right. Well, let's get with number 3. And funny thing is, it's actually Zorro, Man of the Dead #1 from Lee Bermeo.
My family loved this one. I didn't vote for this. My family loved it though. Apparently, the studio audience doesn't like this one either.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, Marcus liked this one.
I didn't think the bike was very well done. I can see like all kinds of weird inconsistencies about it, and it draws my attention to it. I don't know.
Interesting. I think it's just interesting. Zorro's riding a dirt bike. I mean, why is that?
That's true. I never thought of that.
Isn't Zorro's time from before there were dirt bikes? That's what I thought.
I'm pretty sure this is modern day.
So it's not actually the OG Zorro. It's someone taking on the mantle, apparently. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it Ghost Rider? It's not. Is it Ghost Rider? It's not Ghost Rider.
I don't know. Find out.
Who's the publisher of this one?
Massive.
Whatnot,
okay. Whatever.
Okay.
Thanks, Pat. I forgot. It's like, man, I don't know.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Coming up in second place, which is cool for me.
Yep.
Got Wolverine 41. Lionel Francis Yu.
Definitely voted for this one. I think this is the first. First quick decision for me on this one. I love this one. Pat?
Yeah, I voted for this one. I like it. It's really well done.
Right.
Isn't somebody here isn't a fan of the split faces?
That is me, and that's one of the reasons that I like this one so much is because he did a good job.
Yeah,
they line up perfectly. It's it drives me nuts when you do someone like they do Superman and Batman, and it just doesn't line up. This is just perfectly executed. So
I agree. I felt the same way.
You could almost make an argument that it could be Sabretooth on the other side. It's just the mask is still there. So, and he shaved his right cheek,
And there's one side.
What?
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I said his dentist only worked on one side. I guess next visit he'll knock out.
Oh, yes, the teeth. Yeah. What were you gonna say, Pat?
I was gonna say there's a rare tick in your box, Kevin, because there's Wolverine's eyes totally exposed.
Yes,
in this cover.
Doesn't it look cool? Well, we obviously agree with that. So yeah, there it is.
And I'm pretty sure Francis Yu draws them both ways. I've seen, if I recall correctly. So he's, I have to give him props because he's doing this. They've shown a lot of these Sabretooth War covers already, and they're all really good. So
yeah.
I have made that observation since this, Wolverine cover has reared its ugly head. No pun intended in cover combat. And you pointed out that that's how it is so often. It seems like that's how it usually is inside. But I'm still not noting a lot of covers like that. At least from the minimal research I've done so far. And the thing I'm going to say about the inside is because it's so small. Right. That's why they're not showing the pupils. It's easier just to make it white, But anyway.
Yeah. I was on the fence on whether I was going to continue to get Wolverine, but when I saw the Sabretooth War storyline coming up, and like Patrick said, these covers, it's like I'm all in. So it's exciting.
You shouldn't be on the fence with Wolverine.
You
mean tell you the 6 titles you need to be getting, Mike?
Okay, it's 6. Yeah, go ahead. We'll see if they're on my list.
Wolverine
on my list. Okay, and almost didn't. Okay.
Spawn.
Nope.
Detective.
Yeah, always.
Batman.
Even when it's trash, always.
Star Wars.
I just dropped Darth Vader.
I said Star Wars, just the main title.
I know. Well, I'm just throwing out there. I was getting a Star Wars title.
Okay, so you're not getting the regular Star Wars, though.
Correct.
And then Star Wars Bounty Hunters. Those are my 6 titles. That's what I'm trying to stick to.
No.
What else you got on your
storyline? The storyline before this Wolverine, it was with Beast, and I didn't read it, but I did jump to conclusions by looking at what was going on inside, and it didn't look good to me at all.
Well, just to let you know, due to my New Year's resolution and you officially talked me out of getting X-Men until I get around to reading to catch up. But I'm not getting any new X-Men because they apparently suck.
Well, they just they get a new group editor, and they're doing away with the what was the Krakow era.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now, so they're redoing the whole.
Everything's getting ready for a reset. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Krakow was kind of like its own separate universe anyway, or mind. It's all in their heads, place anyway, right? So Anyway, I actually have something to say.
Dream.
What?
They're gonna wake up and they all had the same crappy dream.
Yeah, that's an easy. Which stay tuned. I've got something to say about that later. But anyway, what's number 1 this week, Mike?
All right, yeah, let's get to it. Number 1. Number 1.
Oh,
I don't know if you gonna do it. Right whenever I clicked it, I was like, I don't know if she's gonna do a drum roll. Anyway, it's Ultimate.
You should have said that before you clicked it.
Ultimate Spider-Man number 1, Nick Klein.
I voted for this. Pat, did you vote for it?
No. Again, I'm a Nick Klein fan, but I don't like this cover. It's just something about it.
Pat had a write-in vote, the A cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you vote for this one, Mike?
Yes.
His eyes are a little funky. His eyes are a little wonky, but I think it's pretty cool overall. Yeah. And I do have a. Go ahead. I was just gonna say I think my entire family is the only one we all agreed on, so I figured this would be in there. What were we gonna say, Mike?
So two people got all 3 correct, and that's Tyler and Ayla.
Wow. Okay.
And then 4 people got 2 of them right. And that's Kevin, Mike, Mark, and Lexi.
Nice.
Everybody else either got 1.
Hey, you think on the weeks that you say that New York picks 3, you could say what those 3 are? I'm curious.
Yeah. I'll give you Mike's picks.
Put up the 10.
Oh, yeah. About 10. Put up 10.
I'm just going to call Mike from New York in this frame because He's the comic representation for the entire city / state.
Right. He covers everybody. Yeah.
What do you pick?
And Mike's a particular, when it comes to art, he's very particular on what he likes and what he dislikes. Let me find his now. I could just go to him. Okay, Action Comics 1061
Interesting.
and Zorro
Nice.
and Transformers. Oh, I should have put him in here. He got. Oh no. Transformers didn't make it. Right.
Okay. Cool. Hey,
He was one off from me.
Sorry. Go ahead.
What's that?
Say it again.
He was one off from me. I didn't pick Zorro, but I picked Wolverine.
Yeah.
Wolverine action.
Which was the better
Transformers. Okay.
Yep.
One cover received 0 votes, and that's the Avengers, which I can see it. And I think I had mentioned this to Pat was, the Daredevil book. I wasn't going to put it up there. I went back to it, and I kind of studied that one, and I liked the action going on there, so I actually put it on there. And I told Patrick it's great whenever I second guess a cover, but it actually gets votes because Valor had voted for that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
As did Karen voted for that one too. So that was great.
Man, that guy at the bottom, that soldier at the bottom, it has a messed up mouth. Can't really see it because of the banner, but it's going the wrong way. It's facing the wrong direction. Yeah.
Hold on. Now that the banner's gone, hold on.
It's probably still hard to see.
Yeah, I still can't see it actually. Yeah.
I guess you just have to pick it up. What's the
Yeah. Hey, okay. Here's the pressing question for y'all. My news resolution is to stop buying books just because of the covers, right?
Right.
But I subscribe to Star Wars because I read it. But I like the A cover, but then I also like to put I like the action figure variants. So if I get both, am I breaking my New Year's resolution?
Yeah.
I am.
Because you're buying that second physical book just for the cover.
But I'm reading it. Okay, so for me not to break my resolution, I have to read both copies. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
I'm glad that he's still doing the action figure variants.
Me too. I love them. Yeah.
I was getting those. Go ahead, Pat.
I was gonna say he's down to the peg warmers though, I feel.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. There's been a few of those already, actually, though. Yeah. Where it's like that's an odd pick, but I actually liked her character too.
Well, that's why I selected that one. I'm like that was. I think it's the character design. She looks great, and so that's why I picked that one. Kind of one of those peg warmer covers, like Patrick said, but an interesting one.
Well, once again, another great week, Mike. We know how tough your job is on that, so good choices. Nice. Out of 400 and some. Good job.
Yep. It's actually a small week.
Yeah.
Okay. Since you made that comment, 400 and some is a small week. What is an average week, in your opinion? 600 covers?
550 to 6, yeah.
Man, I'm really going to need those title stats to really.
Well, when you get Dynamite loves to do 4 books but 50 covers. I did that one week. I counted up like the top, like Marvel, how many books they had and how many actual titles they had, and then how many covers, those books made up. And yeah, geez, Dynamite's number 1 almost at variants.
It's very interesting to me. I'd love to see the financial numbers on that too, because like you've got the interior, it's all the same. So it's one print, one press, for every book. But then every new cover, they got to make a new press. So do you think with the way my printers act, it's so expensive to make a new press? So, and that's kind of partially your business, right, Pat? You dabble in that a little bit with your No,
Nah,
no pressing stuff. Okay,
no.
just designing it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So we ready to get it or forget it? Everybody got some locked and loaded?
Yes.
That's locked. I don't know. I'm gonna wing it.
What?
Yeah. Well, oh, come on.
What?
Look at you. What?
All right.
All right.
All right, cool.
All right.
Mike, looks like you're first.
Yeah, so I read this last week, and then I kind of tried to reread it last night, got halfway through, and then Tom Glancy'd the rest.
Okay.
But we've got Lunar Lodge #1, and I was in such a hurry I didn't take any of my normal notes. So I think this came out November 22nd. It may have been December sometime. The publication of this has been delayed numerous times. #2 comes out March 20th. #3 is April 24th. #4 doesn't even have a proper release date. So it just keeps, the whole thing was supposed to have been out by now, I think. So
Okay.
anyway, so you've got some time to pick up #2. But #1, we've got the writer is Tyler. Oh, I can't even read my script. Chicken Scratch. Marcia. And then Mirko Kolak is the artist. So basically the gist of this is we've got the main guy on the cover here. He's a veterinarian. Kind of opens up with him in his veterinary clinic, and he gets bitten by a dog. I don't know what that means for the story now. I imagine later on, issue 3 or 4 it may come about on, have a direct effect on the story. At home, he gets a phone call, he answers it, and it's basically a hotel, the Lunar Lodge, calling to confirm his wife's reservation. So he's like, okay, yeah, she's not home right now. So the woman confirms it, and he hesitantly says, okay. And then he looks at the refrigerator, and she's supposed to be staying at a different hotel, not the Lunar Lodge. So when she gets home, he asks her about it, and she's like, yeah, she's staying, at the Marriott or wherever for some work seminar. So of course he's suspicious. Things aren't lining up. So he puts a tracker in her car and tracks her when she leaves, goes to Lunar Lodge, and it's like everyone's there for the full moon. What are the people called that moon planet watch?
Moon chasers.
There you go. Yeah, moon chasers.
No, I can't.
Anyway, that's supposedly the reason everybody's there, because they like to watch the moon. But so he kind of mills around, and he's in a bar, and it almost gives me the kind of the sense from The Howling, when the guys are around all these people, but they're actually werewolves. Eventually, by the end of the book, he sneaks around, gets into some areas where he doesn't have access to, or he shouldn't have access to, and he finds his wife, and she's kind of in this locked cell area, kind of chained up. So you get the feeling that they're all there because they're werewolves, and that's a place to go to lock themselves up so they don't hurt people, I guess. That's my guess. So
Did you see Jesse's chime in there, Mike? Do you see that comment?
yeah, what did he say?
He said it's not astrology.
Oh, okay. There you go. So what is it then?
No, it's astrology. It's
Yeah,
gotta
I
be
know.
what he means. No, I know.
Yeah. Like I said, if I had written my notes, I probably would have had that.
Side note,
so-
fans
yeah,
of
sorry.
Cover Combat 7 are big fans of this book.
I'll say.
Right.
Check out next round of Cover Combat 7 to see what that comment's about. But anyway.
This is a get it for me because it's werewolf related. The artwork's fantastic. It's definitely a more mature audience book. It's kind of graphic. So yeah, this is a get it.
Nice.
And I guess the publication is just so random and just pushed so late. I guess just be patient. Probably have to reread number 1 by the time number 2 comes out.
Yeah, you gotta hate when that happens for sure.
Yeah.
This does sound interesting, but the question that everyone's begging to know is, which do you prefer, werewolves or foxes?
Is there a werefox?
Oh my God, there probably is.
I wouldn't. Okay, look. I would be afraid of a werewolf. I wouldn't be afraid of a werefox. I'd probably just kick it.
Well, they had a werebear in, or no. Yeah, werebear in Dungeons and Dragons. So they probably have a werefox in the monster manual of Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. Got to get a regular Dungeons and Dragons segment going on here.
Oh, so everybody needs to tune in Monday for the Fox reference.
Yeah. Lots of fun in the cover combat Monday. Yep. That's good to hear, though. This might be something I'd like to check out. So, you know, I'm not going to buy it, though. I'm just going to read your copy.
Yeah, you can read mine.
All right. Is that all you got?
Oh, yeah. That's all I got. I couldn't get interior pictures downloaded in time.
All right. What just popped up on the screen? Who's that?
That's mine. Sorry.
Okay.
I had to switch over. Now I just got to find out which one it was. There we go.
Okay. All right, Pat, what do you got?
All right. So I have, sorry, all the switching over got me a little discombobulated.
New tech, we're dealing with, people. We're, you know, be patient with us.
Yeah, because I had so many pictures. I put them all over on my side.
Right.
I'm going to talk about the. There it is. Okay. See, my computer's still a little screwed up. This is the Collecting the Art of G.I. Joe by Carson Metaxas and Chad Huckel. A little bit of history about this. It was originally kickstarted as these individual volumes, which I did support. They were like 78-page magazine size format. And if you could buy them all and then collect them in these the little slip box they have there. I bought volume 1 back in 2015. I actually missed volume 2, and I got volume 2 and 3 together when they kickstarted volume 3 in 2016. And at that point, I was kind of at the stopping point where I was no longer buying G.I. Joe figures after that. So the further ones on down the line didn't interest me much. Because what this kind of does is it compiles all the card art, all the box art, anything dealing with the product art-wise from the G.I. Joe Real American Hero toy line. It was
cool.
sort of the brainchild of Carson. He ran a website called 3D Joes, and he started putting these out. And even back at the time, I think I'm not 100% on this, but I think he hinted that at one point, you know, they would collect these, you know, in some kind of deluxe format. Jump to 2000. When was it? Early 2022. They launched the Kickstarter. It was they were trying to get $35,000 from the backers. It ended. It funded within 90 minutes and finalized at $394,000. So it was a raging success.
Wow.
And all along he said, you know, he's putting this money back into this book, and boy did he ever. You know, there's sort of like the funding goals, the stretch goals. Maybe they weren't called stretch goals at the time, but he lists them here as funding goals. Little upgrades here and there, kind of probably hard to read on the screen. But they were promising a lot of extras as they went along. When this was announced, I decided, you know, I'm a sucker for big art books, big hardcover collections. I figured I would sell off my individual volumes. I had the first 3 volumes. They sold very quickly. I sold them off.
Nice.
I was I sold them for $10 less than what this kickstarted for, which was $100. It was $100 plus $20 shipping. Okay. And here's an early concept of it, comparing it. The one on the right is the original volumes. That's actually the slip box that you put the original volumes into. It was 8.5 by 11.5. And the projected format for this new hardcover was 12.5 by 13.5. But it even got bigger than that. So this arrived right after Christmas for me. It took, it was projected to ship in late 2022, December 2022. It showed up late 2023, but they put a ton of work into this project, and you'll kind of see that going forward. There's the box on my ottoman in the living room there. Some shots of that. It's the gross weight 9.4 kilograms, 8.2 kilograms, which the net weight, I don't know if the net weight is the box inside the box or just the book itself, but 8.2 kilograms is 18 pounds.
Jeez. Did you know what this was as soon as you got this box? Oh yeah, it says it on the side there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, they were, one thing about this Kickstarter was they kept everybody in the loop. There was constant updates.
Okay.
So you knew it was coming too.
Gotcha.
It was double boxed. Okay. A little protective thing on the front there. And then there it is inside. And you can see they filmed corners all around it so it wouldn't get damaged. So the packaging, yeah, I think there were, some instances of damage, but mine was pristine. And I don't have a great track record sometimes with shipping. Kind of get it out of the box here. Here you can see it on the ottoman. There's the back. It has a magnetic flap when you start opening it.
Oh, nice.
There's the inside. The creators are on the inside of the clamshell case, listed as individual G.I. Joe figures. Was kind of a fun idea. And right on top there, you can see a portfolio, and we'll get into that. There it is pulled out, and there's the back of the portfolio, and there it is opened up, and you can, there are 11 by 14 prints. There was 24 11 by 14 prints. 12 were picked by the backers, and there you can see them there along the bottom, and
nice.
12 were picked by the editors. So a total of 24 prints. And there's the book itself, still in the clamshell. Has the little ribbon there to pull it out because it's hard to get out of the box.
I love that. Love that.
There it is. You can see like the other side of the inside of the clamshell showing the rest of the people that worked on the book. And there's the back of the book outside of the clamshell. And we'll start getting into it here. The inside end papers of the book, they asked for childhood photos of kids like opening up their G.I. Joes back in the day. And that is on the inside front cover and the inside back cover. Then we'll sort of start getting into what the book is about. There's like a foreword, but then they go through every wave of the figures and vehicles starting with 1982. And there you can see basically what they ended up with this full-size book. The full-size book ended up being 13.5 by 14.5. This made it possible that the file cards and the backer cards that you see there are actual size. They're 1-to-1 with the actual figures.
That's very cool.
A lot of inside information. There's how many gatefold covers is there? I think there's 8 or 10 gatefold covers, fold outs like this. And there you can kind of see them. I tried to pull it out so you could see it, a lot of background design work information. They have interviews with the creators. They do full size. They were able to obtain original negatives of the actual artwork and could produce the artwork alone full size on these pages. They give artists credits and everything. It's really, really awesome. Well, I'll hold this picture for a minute. I'll get a little bit of background. It was supposed to be 480 pages, then they upgraded it to 640 pages. Then it ended up being 712 pages. They decided they would do a Blu-ray because they were interviewing all these creators. They would put the interviews on Blu-ray. People talked about, well, some people don't have Blu-ray. We just have DVD. So they upgraded that to make it a DVD Blu-ray combo pack. Then it ended up being 2 DVDs and 2 Blu-rays, and they were going to actually house the Blu-ray itself inside the book somehow. They were going to, attach it inside the cover, but it grew to be such a big project. They're actually releasing the DVD and Blu-ray as a digipack, and it hasn't been produced yet. It's going to come along later in 2024. So we're still waiting on that. So like I said, 10 double gatefold spreads. It was originally just gonna be a slip cover. It ended up being that clamshell case that I showed there. 18 pounds, 24 by 11 by 7, 11 by 14 prints. One cool thing, I didn't go in on the tier, but if you went for a higher tier for more money, you were involved in voting on choices being made for the book, like how they would arrange certain things, or certain things would be selected. It actually, like I showed you, they asked for childhood photos, put those in the book. It actually spun off because he was working so closely with the original Joe creators. They got this idea to document the process of making a brand new figure. And that was a successful Kickstarter campaign. In fact, the plans, I believe, I didn't back it. The plans are to make more than one. They're going to do waves of these figures. They're called Operation Recall. And this wasn't just the collected edition of the individual volumes that I talked about in the beginning there. They actually, they went back, and it was like a complete remaster. Just about every aspect of the book was overhauled and refined. They spent a lot of time doing this the right way. Excuse me. Like I said, mainly it was for the toys. We down through here. They do touch on the animated show. They didn't want to make the animated show the focus, or the comic books, which they also touch upon. It was mainly the toys and the spin-offs for the toys, but they at least talk about other aspects of the show and how the art was impacted, or vice versa. Again, there's some full-size shots, and this is about right here is about where I stopped paging through. I'm about halfway through the book, and it kind of coincides with where I kind of stopped with my GI Joe collecting back in the day. But I fully intend to go through the whole book when I get a chance. But there's the last pick, which ended up being the first pick accidentally. A lot of artist profiles you can see there. They're even touching upon video game box art and things like that. There's a spotlight on Earl Norham, who did a lot of comics related covers and books and things like that. There's coloring books in here. There's just about everything you can think of. They did such an amazing job on this. And like I said, they put back the money that they, the supporters put into this project and upgraded just about everything. It's an amazing book. It's if you were a collector of G.I. Joe, Real American Hero back in the 80s, this is a definite must-have. Like I've said in the past before, I'm sort of like that borderline fan. I like the superhero aspects of Real American Hero. That kind of drew me in. The Marvel comic drew me in. But I'm not a diehard G.I. Joe fan by any means, and this book just blows me away. So I can only imagine, those diehard fans out there would love this book.
That's awesome. I'm not a diehard fan either, and I love this book. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah. The card art is kind of lost. How many action figures were actually just collected and stuck back. A majority of them were opened and the card and everything thrown away.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they're kind of gathering all this in one place, because they're great pieces of work.
Yeah, and Just for transparency, the Kickstarter, the Kickstarter backers got a great deal. It was $100, $20 shipping for this massive thing. When they open up the orders to the normal folk, the normal ordering processes, this is going to be $150 plus shipping, and you don't get the DVD Blu-ray. It's going to be another $30 just for that. So the Kickstarters really got a huge bargain, as far as jumping on board early on this. And I give Carson so much credit for putting back into the product and delivering way above and beyond what they initially promised for this book. One of the big things, one of the complaints, if you want to call it complaints, about this is it's too big. You want to pop me back up there, Kevin? Yeah. I got it right here just to show you or do I have to switch back over? Here it is. And it is heavy.
Yeah, I was trying to use your controller there, your game. Is that a PlayStation controller or whatever? I was trying to use that. Right. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know how big those are, but yeah, when you get it like by you, it's like, holy cow.
Yeah, and one of the cool things about it too is, still waiting on this. We still have a bonus coming up with the Blu-ray DVD coming up, and it's got this is one of those funny things because they were so transparent and so active with the community about updates and things like that. I started tuning out because it was just so much information, and I'm just like, I'll wait for the final product. But I think that's why I'm not too clear on the Blu-ray, but I think there's probably 4 or 5 hours of content on these DVDs and Blu-rays that they went back and interviewed these creators and people that worked at Hasbro. So it's pretty incredible. It's mighty impressive, and I think it's got to be the biggest, heaviest book I own. I mean, it's kind of the same width as an artist edition. The artist editions are a little taller, but it's definitely not as many pages as this G.I. Joe book. And just impressed. It's an incredible undertaking. I give Carson, and then Chad Huckel, I believe, was the person that went in and did a lot of the new photography, the rescans, the touch-ups, and things like that. So Carson gave him the byline on the book. So hats off to them. It's like I said, must-have for G.I. Joe collectors. And if not, it's a get it for folks out there if they can, if they have space on their bookshelf and cash in their pocket and a nice strong back, because it's a
yeah.
Yeah, you can imagine how much diehard G.I. Joe people would just love all that process and then that finished product.
I didn't put that up.
Why'd you put
that was
that
me
up?
switching back over. Sorry, Mike. I got it.
Amazing.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, the audience thinks it's amazing. Which is a perfect segue, totally unplanned, but a great coincidence. So I got 2 things I want to talk about. One of the things I read is a new comic, Duke. Just came out from Image. And I think this is the C cover I picked up. They're all pretty cool, but I liked something a little bit different with this C cover. And this is by Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley. And the first thing I want to say before I even talk about the interior of this is that I love, and I actually don't read too many of the, the letters page or whatever you call it. Is that what you call it?
Is it at the back that says letters? They're letters from the fans.
Yeah, actually, no, I'm not going to call it the letters page then, because this is just, after the comic, Joshua Williamson kind of puts this whole background story of himself with G.I. Joe in here, and how he got involved with doing this GI Joe project, and it's an awesome read. So much so, I just started glancing at it and reading the first couple sentences, and it just kept grabbing me, and I ended up reading it. It's like a full page and like 8 paragraphs of him explaining how he got involved with this project, and I thought it was especially great because the biggest thing he talks about is his love for GI Joe back in the 80s. And one thing he said that I think is a cool note, based on what you just showed again, Pat, is that, G.I. Joe was great. The action figures, by themselves, he thought they got even better, or he enjoyed them more because then he got the animated show. And then, of course, they made the comic books and all of it he loved so much and was a big collector of all of it. But the great point I thought he made, and I think we can all relate to this being kids in the 80s ourselves, is, when you bought these action figures, especially, and Mike noted that a lot of the cards are thrown away because in the 80s, everybody wasn't a specker. You just ripped your action figures open and played with them, especially since kids were the biggest market then, that he talked about how, when you ripped them open, you played with them, you did not recreate a cartoon you saw or a comic book you read. You totally used your childlike imagination, not childlike, your imagination as a child, and created new stories that all of these characters that you love so much were going through. And of course, you talked about how, no one does it better than G.I. Joe with accessories, So he talked about how he loved getting involved with this project because he's got, and you can totally envision this too. I'm sure you can, Pat, and me and Mike did it a lot when we were kids, writing down all these stories and thoughts and of course, just talking to your friends about, all the adventures you're making your action figures go through and stuff. And he says that he does not plan on stopping, and he loves where the freedom he's being given to do with what he wants here. And it's stuff that he, as a kid, was doing with the figures and stuff. So I thought all that was very cool,
Yeah.
So this is written by a 10-year-old Joshua Williamson.
Yeah, basically,
In a
right.
roundabout way.
Yeah. Which is awesome. We talk, how many times we talk about whenever a new comic comes out or whatever, just appreciate the source material, so you don't, this is like spot on with that. This is crossing over with, of course, the Energon universe. And that's kind of where this story starts, actually. Actually, the first couple pages are just kind of explaining Duke and how awesome he is, basically out of boot camp, and how he's excelled in the military and rose up the ranks. And even though he's been in, excuse me, for a long time, and he could be the highest rank there is, he's chosen to kind of stay in the trenches with troops as a leader. And that's kind of who Duke is. So, but then there's the twist that comes that is not your G.I. Joe of old, of course, when he comes across, what's the major jet one? Is it Jetstream? Slipstream?
Jetfire.
Jetfire.
Okay. No, Starscream.
Starscream. Okay. So he comes across Starscream, and Starscream, it quickly kills one of his best buddies, and then just kind of turns back into, he turns into a transformer at robot form and kills his friend, and then transforms back into a jet and just jets off. And of course, no one else sees this except Duke and, of course, his dead buddy. So Duke is trying to tell everybody that this is what happened. And of course, they all think he's crazy because this is the first Transformer sighting. Who knows if it's of anyone, but anyone Duke knows telling him. So Duke gets this bad rep that he's crazy. And basically the military makes up this cover-up story, since Duke's telling them a story they don't want to, say is true because they don't believe it. So they just make up a story. So now Duke is not only mad and he's kind of crazy because his friend was killed by this transformer thing, but also now he's bitter with the military in general because they've all lied about it. And so it basically, the story mostly focuses on in issue 1 here, this struggle between the military love him because he's the best they've ever had, and his bitterness towards the military for lying to the public about what happened to his best friend, and him knowing about this transformer jet robot thing, and no one believes him. So it's pretty interesting the way this plays out. And, I love the art, and it's written really well. I enjoyed the entire story. It was a real quick read. You know how the more you're into it, it seems like a book's over in like 5 minutes. It's kind of frustrating. You're like ready for the better it is, the more ready you are for the next issue immediately, and it's not there. And then basically what happens since at the end here is, since Duke is still obviously aware of the Transformers and everybody's calling him crazy, he basically goes to the crazies to see if he can get information. And what I mean by crazies is people, alien abduction people and Sasquatch sighters and, Bigfoot sighters and all these. He kind of groups up with this, I don't know, he met them all on Facebook or something, group of people that one woman in particular totally believes his story. But she actually says it's a government program that she's been trying to investigate because she believes the Transformer is just a U.S. government new, project. So he teams up with this lady in search of this in particular government building. And then he gets back to the lady, this whole Facebook group. It's not a Facebook group. I'm just going to call it that because it's funny. But when he comes back to where this Facebook group and this lady are, they're all dead. And when he was in the government building, he actually did see a lot of interesting stuff. And basically it's all Cobra stuff. And so he's convinced now, though, it's really, like I said, this is a very interesting story because now he's convinced what the lady was believing, that this is a government project. And when he sees all the Cobra stuff, he thinks that's the U.S. government doing all this crazy Cobra stuff. So there's a little bit of, interesting conflict in his own mind there as to what's going on. The only Cobra person that shows up is Destro. He kind of decides to let Duke go, even though he sees everything, because they thought he's crazy up to this point. He basically just believes they're going to continue to think he's crazy, so, rather than kill him and draw attention to themselves with that, just lets him go. And then that's kind of where it ends up. They decide the U.S. government. So of course he doesn't keep to himself what he saw, and he does still say this stuff. And the U.S. government doesn't take him too seriously, but they do want to investigate what he did see. And then they start to send. And I'm not a big G.I. Joe guy either, but they send a couple other what it seems like will end up being G.I. Joe operatives after him to figure out what he knows and stuff like that. And it seems like that's the way they're going to kind of bring G.I. Joe together. But G.I. Joe does not exist in this book, but Cobra does. And interestingly enough, too, I think it's the last 6 pages are I would guess, it doesn't actually say, so I'm just guessing, the first 6 pages of Cobra Commander. The book you highlighted, Mike, in previous video,
Yep.
Which there's not
How's
a
that
whole
look?
What's that? Sorry.
How does that look?
It looks good. It's pretty close to similar. It's a little bit crisper art than the original. I mean, I should probably take pictures of the interior panels for y'all, but it's good. It's good though. That's for sure. So,
Yep.
But yeah, so I enjoyed those 6 pages too. And the thing I will note about this book is there is no for mature audiences on here that I see anywhere. Oh, it's on the back. It's rated T for teen. But man, this is a graphic book. This is, as far as violence and gore, like his buddy getting killed by Starscream is pretty vivid. And then in the Cobra story in particular, Cobra, obviously he's the baddie of the bad in this story we're getting into. Yeah, so it gets pretty violent there too. So I'm not sure this is good. It's probably good for teen actually. But anyway, just heads up on that, which I enjoyed it because of that factor. Just heads up for people on that. It might not be something you want to buy your 8-year-old, you know.
Yeah.
Did you see this logo too? So it's Skybound. This is actually Skybound, which is subsidiary of Image. Is that how it works? It's kind of like,
Yeah, it's Kirkman's imprint.
it's Kirkman's imprint of Image. So is it always going to be Skybound Image, or is it eventually going to be Skybound? What do you think? How's that work? You know?
Oh, he'll never leave Image. He's what is he? Todd's president, right? And
No, I think
Yeah,
Kirkman is.
he's
isn't
on the
he?
board.
Kirkman president. Yeah, he's never leaving Image.
Right, but I'm saying, is Skybound ever going to be completely separate from Image, or will it always be Skybound Image? You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, as long as he's an Image, and he wants to keep the Skybound imprint, I'm sure he will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because then you look underneath the little Duke in the corner box there.
Mhm.
It's got that Space Star type EU for Energon Universe. That's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I love that kind of thing, because then you can tell
Mhm.
what you're buying is what it gives you, kind of gives you a peek of what you're in for when you buy this book, right?
Yeah. DC does that from time to time. You know, they keep changing things, but yeah, they'll have like the Bat Family stuff and the Superman books and all that.
Or like
Okay.
Marvel puts the 20th Century Fox logo up in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I hate that. Yeah. All right, but yeah, this is. I'm gonna give this a definite. I'm gonna follow right up with Pat and give it a definite get it for everyone. Must have for GI Joe fans. I love this. So
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I wondered how they were going to do these solo, quote unquote, solo books, and how, does it not that just leaves me questioning, the new GI Joe book. Is it like, how does it tie? Is this Duke comic like a prequel? Did this Energon universe, or we seeing the origins of it in the past, and the GI Joe comic book is current day, or what they're doing there?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, well, I think Duke is a miniseries.
Yeah, it's gonna be 5 issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think the only ongoing are going to be Transformers, and GI Joe and Void Rivals. I think those are the only ongoing. Void Rivals has taken a break to allow all this other stuff to happen and kind of catch up since it was published first. So they're off. I think it doesn't come out for like another 3 or 4 months for the next issue. So
Okay. Well, I definitely.
I think once we get 3 months, 4 months down the road, and these are all come out, I imagine we'll see everything kind of just converge together and play out. But
Well, I might be getting 7, maybe 9 books instead of 6, because I'm going to be reading this so I can get it with my New Year's resolution. This is definitely a great book. So, and I would suggest for you, Pat, if you were ever, obviously you said, you're not a big GI Joe fan, but you used to be a GI Joe lover. This is good stuff. You should definitely get it, Pat. So, all right, and then I was interested about this book because we talked about this a little bit. The original X-Men, and I know we've shown the Stegman cover a million times. I think that's the A cover, right, Mike?
yeah.
But this is the one I chose to get. And this is the this is the B cover. Okay. And I do have a question for y'all. Do you know who Elizabeth Torque is? What's that name mean to you?
It rings a bell, but I don't know. I can't think of it right off.
The reason I'm
Never
asking is because this is a John Romita Jr. cover,
Yeah.
and it's called the Elizabeth Torque homage variant. So I thought that was odd. That's through the CLZ app. I didn't know if the Elizabeth Torque was some kind of meaning something in particular, but I don't know. So you guys don't know either. So, right?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, so I grabbed this one because the original X-Men cover is not this original X-Men, but the original X-Men cover is one of my favorite X-Men covers ever. So I wanted to grab this one instead of the segment cover. I grabbed the segment cover too, but I offered that on the Whatnot show. But I'm going to be keeping this one. And we had a few questions when we talked about this being a one-shot. And the quick answer to that is yes. This is sorry about that, Taryn. This is a one-shot book, but this kind of continues. It's kind of a cheat one-shot book, and I'm conflicted with this, man. I am so, you know how you were over Batman and Spider-Man homage and Incredible Hulk homage. You know, we have that whole conversation. You know what I'm over, Pat?
What's that?
The multiverses.
Yeah.
I am so tiring of multiverses. It's like I would rather, the opinion poll right now between the three of us. Here's where I am. Rather than selling everything as a multiverse to where, you've got our original verse and then these multiverses that they can just cheat in whatever they want. Just do like this Duke is doing that I just read. This Duke isn't pretending to be another, universe that's possibly connected. Well, at least so far, I don't know. That's possibly connecting to the regular universe. It's just a new story with the same characters. I'd prefer that rather than this multiverse that Loki has to maintain forever. I mean, that guy's got so much already.
Well, I think it's like the multiverse is kind of like what you said. It's kind of a cheat to where they can do stuff, but the ramifications aren't everlasting. They don't have to commit to it. They can say, "Oh, no, that was in a different thing. This is, So I think that's
what I'm saying. I feel like they could do that. Perfect example is the Days of Future Past. That's not canon. It's just a separate story. There's all these books that come out that aren't canon that have similar favorite characters, same favorite characters or similar characters. And it's just a different story that's not canon. I feel, I don't know. Multiverse just seems to be getting out of hand. I'd rather just have it be, a different book that isn't canon. What say you guys on that? What's your first opinion, Pat?
Yeah, I probably tend to agree with that.
Mike?
Yeah, I think I agree. I'm not the multiverse. I'm done with it because it's kind of like a cheat, like you said.
Yeah,
I think they should have. It's like the main. Okay, this is the main timeline, main storyline. This is the way it goes. And I like what they used to, Marvel had the what if thing. DC had the Elseworlds. I like that. If you want to tell a unique, awesome story, because there are great stories being told there, that's outside of the mainstream that you don't want to mess up and have to, have the ramifications that take place here be dictate over here. Set those up.
Yeah.
You've got your main row and then your Elseworlds. I love Elseworlds. I think that's a great title.
Yeah.
But have that on the sides.
Yeah. And I think the problem is, and I'm getting ready to describe it with this book, and this is why I'm having this conversation right now, because of this book. Here's the problem. Okay. So in previous X-Men, the old X-Men got the original X-Men and brought them to the future to do stuff. I'm not familiar with that story. It talks about it in this book, though. And then they went back to their original X-Men past. Okay. And then in this book, a multiverse Phoenix that's bad, that ends up just basically killing any superhero that wasn't willing to help her. And then takes control of their mind and then rules the earth with all of these superheroes, including the X-Men, the original X-Men. The Phoenix from a third multiverse reaches into the first multiverse, for lack of a better way to describe this, to get the original X-Men that this book is about, to send them to the future, to send them to this third multiverse to fight this themselves and this bad Phoenix. Okay. And the reason she's confident that they can beat her is because the original X-Men that she brought into the third universe, where the X-Men, this is where they reference the X-Men, they took them to the future in the canon X-Men stories. And they have this memory of how to beat themselves and Phoenix from that they've suppressed, that the second universe Phoenix opens their minds and lets them remember it. It's convoluted is what comes to mind in this. It is so crazy, and it's a little hard to follow. This is a pretty simple story. Like I said, this is a one shot. It's a pretty simple story. But with that complication, anytime they talk about these complicated things, it's a little hard to follow, you know? And then basically though, the plan goes off the way they plan. And the way they plan is to convince their third multiverse selves that, hey, you guys are good guys. You know, like I said, the bad Phoenix is controlling everyone's mind, that she didn't kill, to then help her rule the earth. So the original X-Men convinced themselves that that's not who they are. You know, you're not the bad guys here. You know, you're the good guys. You're the X-Men. So
you're us. We're you.
Exactly. That's exactly how it goes.
So they won the argument because the other ones are like, we're you, you're us, we're bad. You know?
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, yeah. Well, they you know, that's where they won the argument, because they're trying to convince the original X-Men that no, we're the good guys. Everything they say, they realize actually sounds bad. So then that's when they change, and then all 10 of the X-Men, the original and this third multiverse X-Men, all get together to fight the bad Phoenix and win. Okay. Incidentally, too, this is another crazy thing. I'm just going to throw this out. It's not even Phoenix, which I thought was also weird. Like, most of this book, they talk about how Phoenix is doing this, mind control, blah, blah, blah. And then it ends up being Onslaught disguised as Phoenix. So they actually beat Onslaught. It's not even a bad Phoenix. It's Onslaught disguising himself as Phoenix in this third multiverse. It's nuts. Which Onslaught is basically the dark sides of Professor X and Magneto joined, right, and created he became Onslaught, right? So anyway, so it's crazy. I won't say this is what we got? We haven't given a bad review in a while now. I'm forgetting.
Must have, get it, no opinion, forget it, hard pass.
I wouldn't say this is a hard pass, but here's where I am on this. If you're not an X-Men fan, forget it. This is not quality X-Men in my opinion. But if you're an X-Men fan, I'd say it's a get it. I when I finished reading it, I enjoyed it overall, because the meat of the book is just a story of, young X-Men trying to talk old X-Men into being good. And it's a lot of classic X-Men stuff that I like in it, but overall as a story, I'd say it's a forget it for anybody if you're not a pretty strong X-Men fan to begin with. And like I said, this is a one shot. It literally, everything happens in this, or I said happens in this book by itself. But at the end, the second universe Phoenix that brought the first universe X-Men into the third universe to fight the third universe Phoenix had somebody talking in her ear that we didn't see for the entire issue. But then on the last page, that character that was talking to her in her ear is none other than James Howlett of Earth 295, which is Weapon X in Earth 295. Okay. So we got some Wolverine action, which I guess is going to take place in a new series that's going to be Weapon X-Men. That's just a miniseries that's coming in March. So this is basically the prelude to Weapon X-Men that is coming out in March. So like I said, it's a one-shot, but it's not really a one-shot. You get my gist?
Yeah.
So
it's a launching. Yeah, that last page will launch.
yeah, into a new series, right? So, you know. So that's where I am. I'm happy I read it, though. No questions here.
It's just an
Right?
overcomplication of things.
Oh, hey, your grandpa.
Your grandpa. You know what's funny?
What?
Since your grandpa's here, when I'm doing Mark is voting on the cover combat stuff, he likes to know whose covers are whose. And I'm like, he's like, whose cover is that? I'm like, your grandpa's. He goes, he put covers in this? I'm like, no, not your grandpa, your grandpa. It's so funny. The first time it really caught, and then this is we just did the third part, and he must have forgotten, and he's like, he did? Like, no, man, remember I told you it's not your grandpa.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, man, that's a bunch of good books. I'm glad I did too. Actually, that's why I did the Duke for the second one, because I wasn't too happy about having an X-Men book, which Mike's been saying. You shouldn't be reading X-Men anymore for a while now that I give a bad review.
Well, that would be a standalone. I actually ordered that book myself.
Yeah. Oh, crap. I meant to ask you if you wanted to check out, because you said you wanted to order it.
Yeah, I ordered it.
If you would read it, though, I'd actually be interested in your take on it too. I'd really be interested to hear what you have to say if you read it.
Right.
So read it.
Yeah, I'll read it. I think Monday, my shipment will be here Monday with Duke also. So I'm excited to read that.
Yeah, it was great. All right, cool. All right. Jesse's chiming in. Kevin, you're the Joe Pesci of Town Criers. Oye, oye, oye. Is that how I say that? I don't know the reference, actually. Sorry about it,
I don't
Jesse.
know.
I hope it's not too insulting, since I read it and I'm smiling. I hope it's not an insult. All right. Let me get back to mine first, Pat. Yeah, so apparently you're ready. You are so. Who keeps changing the? Is that you?
Sorry, I was
Pat?
getting ready.
That's okay. That's what I was just getting ready to say. You are obviously ready. Don't change over until after your intro, because everybody loves your intro, especially the end, right, Pat?
Okay.
Okay.
I forgot about that second thing.
All right, Pat, you're ready.
I am ready, because there was not much to get ready for this week.
Uh-oh. Can't wait to see what we need a back brace for, though. Oh, wait, was the back
His
brace
book.
was your book? Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry about it.
Yeah, 18-pound book.
Just put that
Yeah.
tease together. That's what I was actually.
The horizon was so unimpressive, it paled in comparison to the Art of G.I. Joe book this week. So I made that my big tease for the week.
Gotcha. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't catch that right away. But yeah, I was going to say that during your review that it was a Collectibles crossover. So that was good.
Yeah.
All right.
So everything I'm showing this week has not been officially put up for pre-orders. These McFarlane Batman figures have actually they kind of got leaked, I guess. Todd hasn't actually talked about these, at least as far as I know, on Friday. But they've been doing the Batman Adventures figures now. They're going to do some new adventures of Batman figures, new Batman Adventures, however you want to say it, which is my preferred design. And one thing some people noticed is they've gone away from the cell shading on these. So I like that. But, these are basically what happened was DC Direct gave Todd access to the original DC Direct molds of all these animated figures. So he's just basically reusing them and redecoing and repackaging and putting these figures out again. So we got Batman. We've got Batgirl.
Awesome.
And if you notice in the back, again, because Todd hasn't put out an announcement for this, but it looks like they come with like a faux animation cell as a pack in as we go along here.
That's a lot of hands for that Batgirl. I mean, who knew you needed 4 different sets of hands? Who knew?
Yeah, I don't know.
Technically 5. 5 sets of hands for one action figure. That's kind of crazy.
It is. Yeah, Face and Killer Croc with Baby Doll.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're, like I said, exactly like the previous releases, only slightly different paint jobs and that animation cell. Sticking with the Bat universe, the rest of this, we're going to do all sideshow sneak previews here. This is the Batgirl premium format statue.
Oh my God, that's awesome!
Just looking at the picture, I'm like $100 broker than I was a minute ago.
$100.
No, he's $100 broker just from looking at it.
Just from looking at it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just looking at it.
Yeah, cost of admission.
Yeah. That's got to be a $500 statue at least, though, right?
Probably it's premium format, so that's they're in the $500-$600 range, I believe.
That's ridiculous.
This is not premium. We only got one picture for most of these, but this next one, Batman.
Karen's asking the cost of those Batman figures.
McFarlane, $35.
Like I said, haven't been put up. The previous ones were put up. Oh, excuse me, 1 second.
Man, I don't know. I don't remember seeing this kind of Batgirl anywhere. Do you, Mike? She is redonkulous.
Yeah, I'm not sure what story that would be from or where the inspiration for it is. I actually like this, the way the cape is done on this, where it drapes across his shoulders.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
And
sorry.
Pat was definitely noting that's his favorite too, as well. Yeah.
Yep.
If I think I mentioned last time I talked about animated figures, and again here I don't know, because the animated figures have been so far exclusive to Target, and the second wave was initially put up at $24.99, but then the following week they jumped up to $29.99. So I don't know if these new adventures of Batman figures are going to follow suit and be this $29.99, or they're going to be $24.99. Who knows? That's another thing for Todd. Task Todd.
Right.
So yeah, the Batgirl premium format. I do not know where they're pulling this from either, but she looks really good. A lot of people. I saw a lot of comments that she looked like Mila Jovovich, but
yeah,
I can see it, but not entirely.
I think it's her eyes.
Yeah. Let's
and
just.
How are we still calling this? How are we still calling her Batgirl? This is Batwoman. This is what this is.
Different character.
Yeah.
So that's how we're stuck calling her Batgirl.
Yeah. I'll switch gears on myself here. We'll stick with the premium format line. And this is a new line specific to Sideshow that they've created. They're called Pulp Vixens. The first one here is Mr. Sin. They're basically sort of going for that pulp trade paperback vibe. They're just, these are characters they made up. I just think they look awesome.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to throw them in here. And dag nabbit, the other one's missing. Unless I can find it here.
Where does that? Okay, hold on a second. So this is a statue.
Correct.
Where does the statue end and the picture in the back begin? It's so it looks like the picture. Where
Yeah. I would just say the base that she's on is included, but the rest is not. The background is not.
So there's no partial ladder coming off the base, you think?
Yeah, the steps. No, the steps aren't included.
Steps, yeah, not ladder, yeah, steps. That's
the
awesome.
old pulp books are awesome. If I find them, sometimes I'll find the old stuff like that in the free bins at the bookstore, and I'll snatch them up just because of the artwork on the cover.
Yeah. So you're not going to do that anymore, though.
If it's free, I will.
All right.
I'm talking about the old pulp books, like the novels, the paperback.
Yeah,
novels.
I know. I'm just That one doesn't. That's not included in New Year's resolutions. We can still buy books for covers as long as they're not comic books. How about magazines? Are magazines included in the New Year's resolution?
Man, magazines are $15 a pop. I don't buy those. Jeez.
I started reading Judge Dredd magazine. I actually got 2. They must have skipped a month on me because I got 2 this month. So I got last month and this month's. And you know what stood out to me about reading that book? There are literally no ads. It's like cover to cover, and it's it's magazine format. I don't know how many pages exactly are in a magazine, but there's a lot, and it's every single bit of it is Judge Dredd comic. It's not any ads in it. I thought that was interesting. Awesome, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, it was perfect because it gave me time to re-download the picture I was missing.
Okay.
This is the other one. I like this one currently, Mr. Sin, better. But again, we haven't got complete shots of everything. This one is called Deep Down. She's sort of the underwater diver. So yeah, these are really cool to me. I won't be buying them, but I think they're really, really nice.
They are very
nice. This one, once we see the base, it could really set this one off to a whole new level. I mean,
yeah.
If you look over in the left corner, there's a lot we're not seeing. Man, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Man, I love these styles of pictures more and more every day because I follow a few, and this is partially because of how great a job you've done with all these, Pat. These content creators that use action figures and make these great diorama, pictures and, photographs of their literal action figures. And obviously in this case, a statue with a great background. I love these more and more so much. I don't have the money or the interest enough to do this myself, but I love it so much. Other people doing it. I'm trying to talk Tyler into doing it because he's got the inventory for it already.
Right.
And I guarantee if he got into it, he would love it himself. He would love not only the process, but his, the product he ends up with. So I keep trying to talk him into it, but he's like, I ain't got time for that. Because and I haven't told him this, but I'm like, imagine how great that would be for Exceller Comics too. If we were putting out stuff like that regularly, it's a combination of covering all bases with everything we do. I think it'd be so great, but he's not down. He's like, I don't have time for that. He's just gonna keep collecting the figures and putting them on his shelves on the wall.
Yeah,
doesn't want to share them with the world. All right, sorry, get back. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Like I said, not much to go over this week, so I appreciate the fill. The last thing is also by Sideshow. This is not a premium format statue. This is just a statue. No real idea on the scale or anything, but this is the Fastball Special Wolverine and Colossus statue. Some of the neat things about this, neat or not neat, it's up to you to decide, but they've made it so it looks like they're popping out of a comic book. I don't know if it works. I've seen this done before, but I think this is maybe the best execution of it I've seen. I'm still not in love with it, but I think it's better than I've seen in the past. Let's just put it that way. There you can see from the
Oh, there we go. The first picture is really difficult to
Tell
kind
what
of
was going
focus
on.
and see what's going on. Yeah, these two. Yeah, that one, and it's mainly because of that background. I think that looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does. Dadgummit.
And I guess if you do not like the idea of them popping out of the comic, there's an optional display.
Oh, that's
just-
cool. That's awesome. Love options. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And this is sideshow too. You said, right?
Go ahead, Kevin. Again.
You said this is sideshow as well.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, this is the affordable side, so it's probably $350.
Yeah, I have no idea because no scale to judge it by. But yeah, I like I said, I haven't been a fan of them trying to incorporate the comic in the past, but I kind of like what they did here in a way. It's different, like the panels popping out. Also, that's different. I don't think I've ever seen that done before. So, give them credit for trying something new. Whether it's up your alley, I don't know.
It's totally up my alley. I'm in.
The
Take my
figure
money.
sculpts themselves, I think are well done. You know,
Yeah.
regardless if just going by this, I mean, I think that's a pretty well done statue. The characters themselves look pretty great. So, yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. Like I said, not much, not many things put up for pre-order. Not many new things spotlighted this week, but some previews, and previews are all you're going to get for your Horizon this week.
All right. Well, that was still awesome though, and I can imagine being the holidays that this time of year, it's kind of a reset. They gotta.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a vacation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, but that's awesome though. That the Colossus is definitely. Colossus is definitely my second favorite X-Men. Where are you on that, Mike?
Oh yeah, I love Colossus.
X-Men order. Favorite, second favorite.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, back when we first started reading, I liked Storm. She was my favorite.
Yeah.
But then I started getting into it more. Karen agrees. And I started liking Havoc an awful lot. So
Yeah, Havoc's awesome.
yeah. So
Matt, you got any favorites?
You know, like Wolverine, like everybody else. I like Beast, but they've ruined him. But I think they're currently in the process of resetting him because I think he's going to be a major player in the MCU. So they don't want a horrible, evil Beast floating out there. So I think they're going to find some way to reboot him. I always like weird ones too. I like Havoc. I like Banshee. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, just visually, they're cool characters. So.
Yeah, I would say third for me is probably Gambit. Yeah. So anyway. Karen's car is named Storm, and her cat's names are Rogue and Gambit. So
Yeah, nice.
since there have been so many X-Men over the years, I like to mistakenly name her cats all of the X-Men wrongly every time I go to her house. I'm like, what's up, Havoc? I'm like, move out of my way, Psylocke. You know, it's like, and I don't think I've said the same name twice, and I've been there like 4 times since I've been doing that. So, yeah. All right, we ready to wrap up this? Karen enjoys it, obviously. So does the studio audience. Are you ready to wrap up this new year, first show of the new year show?
yep.
All right, Mike, you're first.
All right, I'll go first. I I failed to take notes. I was enjoying the show too much, but I do have one. Sam Rockwell played Hammer.
Nice.
I
Yep.
mean-
Sam Rockwell. Awesome actor. Yep. Pat?
Oh boy, I wrote nothing down and I can't even think of anything. So you skip me for this go round.
Okay.
We'll get you on the next one.
I just want to
We'll
remind
see.
people. I just want to remind people that you don't have to watch all of What If as a whole. You can pick and choose what episodes based on the titles might interest you and watch one episode of If of the 2 seasons they have out, if that's all you want, and just get what you enjoy rather than feeling like you have to watch the whole season to get it. You don't need to. You just need to watch the whole season to get the final episode, definitely of season 1. Season 2, we'll yet to tell. We'll fill you in with that next week. So, Mike?
What was that? I missed half of that. Just kidding. If anybody knows of a Werefox story, let me know. And if there aren't any, I need a good writer to come up with one. I'll read it.
Oh, and Karen, I know, had one too. Karen, you got one? Is it locked and loaded? Karen says Mike is a Netflix special, according to Kevin. Watch the Cover Combat show to find out why. She's right, and yeah, it's Mike is a Netflix special. Definitely watch it. My cheeks are still hurting. Yeah. Pat, you got one now?
How about Monarch advertises a lot of Godzilla. May not deliver a lot of Godzilla, but it's still a good show.
Yes. And obviously we love comics, but I can definitely vouch. I think you two agree that comics are much better when you get somebody that actually loves the content that they're making, to have them write the comics. See Duke by Joshua Williamson.
Yep.
Mike or Karen, you got another one? Karen, you got another one? Karen, where foxes are real. They are skinwalker in Eastern folklore. Okay, Karen. All right.
Yeah, I know about the Skinwalker Ranch.
No, that's Skywalker Ranch. That's Skywalker Ranch. That's Star Wars,
No,
Mike.
There's Skinwalkers out there. Yeah. There was actually a comic book I read, number 1. I didn't read number 2 or 3. But,
Skinwalkers?
Yeah. It's a real
Okay.
thing. Like Bigfoot.
Tune in
All right.
next week. Tune in next week to see how many of our New Year's resolutions we have already broken.
Yes.
Might have happened during the show. Now that I think of it.
Yeah.
Might have. And this will be my final one. No matter how much of a woman Batgirl becomes, she'll always be Batgirl. She can never be Batwoman.
Right.
Got anything else, Mike?
Nope. I'm
Karen,
done.
I think Karen had like 2 more, right? No? I think you might have stole a couple, Mike. From Karen.
Of Karen's?
She was on the same wavelength as you, yeah.
I only did one Werefox.
Well, that's on that same note, I'll actually add one more with this, that bats get a bad rap when it comes to rabies. See, Cover Combat for the story on that one.
I was thinking, like, is that this show? Yep. All right.
Right.
Yeah, you
All
talk
right.
about Kevin talks about the confusing X-Men book he read. Just have some pity on us when we try to figure out if we've yet talked about things that have yet to appear to you millions of fans out there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because when you look at it, we're at 2 hours here. We're over 4 hours of show today. 4
Yeah.
hours of content.
Yeah, and we had to record that show because it's on Monday night, as if it's Monday night. Yeah. Anyway, it's fun. It's fun though. So here we go. Please like, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified of everything we post. We would also love to see all your thoughts, questions, and suggestions commented below. We mean it. I can't tell you how much we enjoy and converse to each other about comments when they pop up underneath our videos. So please do so. Please also subscribe to Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space on Spotify for podcasters or many other podcast providers, and listen to the edited podcast of this live stream on Spotify that will be posted no later than Tuesday. And I keep telling everybody every week that that's a different show. It's obviously, the same show in podcast form, but I'm telling you, with the little editing I do and the musical background, it becomes a different show. Tyler's chiming in with some love. Suggests you guys staying as cool as you always are. That's his comment suggestion. First comment suggestion on the video. Thanks, Ty. Happy New Year. All right, then follow Exceller Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and or what happened? What happened?
I made a great joke and I was muted.
What'd you say?
I said, thanks, Tyler. I'll consider doing that now because I was actually considering going the other way. So
yeah, it fell a little flat late.
Well, it initially was awesome, but I was muted, so I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself here. But you can.
Don't worry, Kevin will fix it for the podcast. It'll sound perfect.
Oh, jeez. Follow Exceller Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and or X, aka Twitter, and follow Exceller_Comics on TikTok and whatnot. Watch our shows on the Whatnot app. You can bookmark one of our shows right now, scheduled for next Thursday, to get notified when the ridiculous deals will be offered. And I'm telling you, they're super ridiculous. Check it out. I'm going to do my best to start posting videos as soon as I can. And then check out what we have to offer on eBay at Exceller_Comics and on our website, excellercomics.com. And you can help support the show and everything we do and plan to do through Patreon at patreon.com/ExcellerComics. Then watch round 3 of Cover Combat 7 viewer submissions this coming Monday, January 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It was a Netflix special, among other things. And then lastly, watch our next live stream on YouTube or Facebook next Saturday, January 13th at 9:30 a.m.-ish Eastern Standard Time. Man, it's a lot of good stuff, right, Pat? It's too much to miss, right?
Exactly.
Oh, and then Mike's chomping at the bits because he got ready for previews this week because he forgot we actually mean that for the second show of the month. So we're going to do previews next week, right, Pat?
If you say so.
No pressure. It's going to be awesome.
Okay.
It was actually a relief for me because I have my list done, but I need to cut it back some, and then I, still gather pictures and all that. So, yeah, when we pushed it a week, I was grateful.
Okay, good.
I was grateful too.
We're not pushing it a week though. We always talked about it being the second week of the month.
Yeah, the full week. Yeah, I counted.
Okay. All right, you guys got anything else? Will that do it?
No, I'll see everybody next week.
All right, awesome. One last time, Happy New Year again. Hopefully you have a great new year and you fulfill any resolutions you may have chose to make. And until next time, don't forget, appreciating great art is awesome and reading a great story is fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Exceller out.